Is it Notre Dame or Notre Dame?
It's Notre Dame.
It is. Notre Dame is
the football team.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, everyone.
Welcome.
On that happy note, welcome to the BlackHolesBite Podcast.
Did you say BlackHolesBite?
No.
That's what I heard.
We are back
getting there
with episode 2, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. To be specific, we're just gonna get right into it. You'll see it's a little different.
They've never seen this movie. I have. I love this movie. Has one of the best Disney villains.
And you get to see the faces behind the voices. So, I'm Josh. You heard my voice
Lydia.
last time.
Jordan.
And we'll get rolling. Here we go.
Alrighty, I'm excited. Let's see what happens.
I kind of want to know why you guys weren't allowed to watch this. Why did your mom hate this movie so much?
Frollo.
No, like, really?
Literally, she hated.
What
the
about
bad
him
guy.
did she, like, hate? Because he's one of the best villains.
He's a perv or something. That's all I've heard told.
He's too realistic with the religious side of it.
Oh, interesting.
Him being a religious figure but being the villain was...
And plus, like, the obsession over a woman. Just the combination of all those things. She didn't like it.
No, like, why? I think it's interesting. Why?
Fair.
Valid. I mean, that's the main reason was just because, yeah, the kind of the religious type things. The obsession over a woman.
Right.
To ourselves.
It's like the nostalgic one, for sure. That just hits. I don't know, in my opinion, but that just hits so good.
It's reminiscent of Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
Just go right into it.
Which is funny, is this technically released before Prince of Egypt.
Those eyes, though.
It's kind of scary.
Kind of creepy.
Thanks, Nani.
Okay, so I watched the play version of this recently, last year. And I've been listening to the soundtrack because I really like the soundtrack. But the story is different from like this. The reason Frollo hates the gypsies so much is in the play version, Frollo had a brother named Jehan, and they were raised within Notre Dame. So they were supposed to ascend the ranks of the church, but his brother Jehan decided he didn't like the restriction of the church, and he ran off with the gypsy.
Oh, so it's very personal.
And so Frollo, like, ascends into archdeacon or something, and he finds out his brother is dying, and so he goes to his brother's aid, and his brother says it's too late for me, but take this child, because his wife, the gypsy, had died, he's dying, and so Frollo's like, this is God's judgment on you, and his brother's like, I knew you wouldn't help, like, you're just worried about yourself. And so he does take the child, which is Quasimodo, obviously. But I think partly the reason he also hates it is because, like, technically Quasimodo is a gypsy, and he has to, like, take that burden of taking care of something that he hates so much.
Yeah. Well, and kind of on a different note, too, I miss this animation. It's all 3D nowadays. It just, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't have the heart that it used to. Like, obviously there's a lot of effort, and I have a lot of respect for 3D artists, but at the same time, like, Give me a good old 2D again that doesn't have any of the rendering, like this. We don't need to go back to the archaic, like, drawing out every single one in a way, but have it so it's that way where it's not just the 3D animation. Like, I love Pixar. It's their first 10 years, some of the best animated movies of all time. But at the same time, the damage they did to the animation industry is absurd in terms of what it was and what it is now. And I don't know. It's like, take me back with some new releases. But again, it's all samey, especially Pixar. Like, the animation style for their past, 4 movies is literally the exact same. They all have the dumb bean. I call it the bean mouth. Like, every character looks the same. Every character has the same... Like you said, there's nothing unique about any of their stuff anymore. A lot with Disney, too, unless it's, animals or something. But, I don't know. That just came to mind.
Well, and on top of that, I can't think of a whole lot of cartoons lately that have, banger music.
Oh! That is so true.
And I know we mentioned this already.
And good singers.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always either good music but bad singers, or good singers and just blah music.
Yeah.
For example, Moana 2. Good singers, blah music.
Seriously, I agree with that.
There was no essence. There was no fun. There's just kind of blah. But this, after one song, I'm locked in. I'm like, bet, let's do it. This is so cool. There's lots of different kind of routes the story could go, and lots of different kind of backstory.
But I also kind of love the lyrics. If you listen to them, they're deep. What makes a monster and what makes a man. That's a deep lyric for a Disney.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's leading up to Frollo versus Quasimodo. Quasimodo may look like a monster, but he's more of a man.
Monster, yeah.
And that kind of goes into the modern dilemma of there's no Disney villains anymore. It's always just kind of distraught people who
it's misunderstood, but also it's just more, worldly dilemmas. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily black and white, good and bad.
Yeah, things aren't going my way and I'm mad. It's
where before it was so focused on this, and I can't say too much, but I'm sure that we'll see Quasimodo's kind of battle for his own kind of belief and his own self-esteem and whatever other issues arise, sort of thing. But now it's the good guys are just kind of there in some other story, somewhere else in life, which is great, but at the same time, it's kind of boring. So, let's get it.
Google.
Leave that up to you.
What's wrong? You want to tell Laverne all about it?
Yes, it is.
I just don't feel like watching a festival. That's all.
On January 1st, celebrated by the clergy in Europe.
Why is it a festival of fools? I think I read something they're making fun of the church.
Hey, quit beating around the bell tower. What are we gonna do? Paint you a fresco?
It was a way to satirize and temporarily invert societal norms and power structures. Oh.
Just a little bit of gaslighting.
Seriously.
Just take every sentence he said, flip it, and that's what it's actually.
Right.
The world is cruel. The world is wicked. It's our Lord. Banger.
So good!
There's actually a version where he hits the last word and then it cuts to the How to Train Your
Oh yeah, I've seen that. It's so cool.
I do have to say though, I know I've never seen it, but I have listened to the whole soundtrack.
Yeah, I've heard
like
90% of this one.
Just from doing musicals back in the day and just life sort of thing. Because this song, like that last sentence, renowned. Like you just hear it all the time in Disney stuff. But something that I find interesting, I was listening to Phantom of the Opera today, and I just found it interesting because what's the Archbishop, what's his name? Bad guy? Frollo.
In this, he's the judge, but in the play, he's the archdeacon.
Okay, it kind of makes more sense that he's the archdeacon since that's like the head.
Right.
Under the Pope. But I find it interesting because the same kind of gaslighting manipulation is just like Phantom of the Opera. It's from a young age whose parent died and is that kind of false manipulation. Now it's kind of different because Phantom is like a ghost father sort of thing for her, but it's just that manipulation is kind of in the same way where they're thinking different thoughts, they're being told lies about themselves.
But it's that brainwashing.
Yeah.
You know, because like I won't spoil too much, but later, like, he kind of turns back and is like, yeah, Frollo was right. You know, like, Frollo has made this world, you know, for him. And so when he goes out into it, he's gonna find that Frollo is right. And he's gonna find every way to make Frollo right, when in fact it's just like, that's because you were brainwashed from the beginning.
Yeah, interesting. And on a different note, I think last time we were watching Snow White, we were talking about how Gal Gadot didn't have any presence as a villain, and
very true.
While this is animated, just the voice acting changes that so well for Frollo. Frollo has presence. He's intimidating. You can tell what his character is just by how he's evil. Yeah, and that was something that was missing with Snow White.
But I heard he want to punch the dude.
Oh, exactly. But his voice, holy cow! Just like that low, gravelly like tone, it's just like has power behind it in terms of like that darkness you feel when he speaks.
Well, that's why HellFire is such a good song.
True.
That's always between, whenever you watch like the best villains, do you know those like videos? It's always between HellFire and like Scar, Be Prepared. And everyone always puts Scar as number one.
No,
and I think Frollo's number one when it comes to Disney villains.
I think comparing, it's an automatic trump card when it's a human. Like it just automatically is. Just because it's a lion.
Right.
It's not. Fun little connection as well before we continue. Tony J, who voiced Frollo in this, singing and stuff, he also did the mirror in the original Snow White.
Oh, really?
So we're just doing a Tony J marathon.
Winning!
Welcome! Which I think he's just in all the classic Disney stuff, so here we go.
Okay, do you hear that, like, theme? The dun, 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 dun. That is, like, Phoebus's theme. Like, every time you see him, you'll hear his theme. And I think that's something else Disney has gone away with, is character themes.
Well, I mean, you hear the HellFire melody whenever Frollo's on.
No, exactly. And it's the same with, like, How to Train Your Dragon. Like, every character has a theme, and every time you see that character, you hear that theme. And I don't like that they've gone away with that, because I think it connects the music to characters.
It does.
So anyways. And
also, like, all instrument orchestras, like, actual orchestras are missing from a lot of movies now.
Oh, 100%. I think it's interesting if you look at his eyes versus all the other characters' eyes. Like, his is just like dots, and it just like that just makes him so evil, you know. And
I believe
with like Esmeralda, you can like see the color in her eyes, and even with Quasimodo, you can see that. But his is just like
call it the
two black beady eyes.
What are we going to do about it, sir? You make your point quite vividly, sir. You know, I like you, Captain.
He's handling it like a champ, though. I'm just gonna give him that.
Well,
His head is like, what the heck is this dude? Like,
Right.
no.
not recently, sir. Look at that disgusting display. Yes, sir.
As he's just like,
He's like, yay! That's your
It's just
theme
like-
song.
the one guy just throws a tomato at her face. Push! Wrecked!
Woo! Take that!
Get off the stage!
You're ruining our entertainment.
Down at once.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hot
Just
take
as
by
soon
Taylor
as I
Swift.
finish
The
talking.
Chiefs games. Get off the screen! Get back to it.
Please treat this poor boy the same way.
I think it's interesting everyone knows about it. They're like, oh, it's the dude from the Hunchback.
Even though they've never seen him.
Yeah. I just wonder what they've thought of him before that. Just, oh, I must have been like a secluded loner or something.
Right.
What's the stuff I sleep to? Gregorian chants.
A little taste of the life of Josh.
Hey, falling asleep to Gregorian chants is fine.
I will have to.
I just shaved this
I've
one.
tried it a few times.
You
It
missed
is fun.
All right. Calm down.
I fell asleep once and woke up to another version, but it was like horror Gregorian chants. I was like, I'm scared to death at 3 a.m.
Right.
Are you always...
Sitting a little below the belt, don't you think?
No. This is...
Touche. You know you had a kid.
Well, he doesn't take kindly to soldiers.
Forgive me.
That's also like something Disney has gone away with. It's just like the funny, like small humor
This is
in
interrogation.
like that. You know, I didn't know you had a kid. I mean, like it's just like dad joke almost.
Yeah, it's one-liners, essentially.
So,
Right.
if you're not going to arrest me,
Good message.
America, what are you doing down here? Haven't you caused enough trouble already?
wait. I don't want to talk to you.
Definitely would not be made today, sadly.
Got a friend with it. Yeah. Maybe today was
That message.
Yeah, just that.
Right.
Just very upfront children type thing.
I just think it's interesting. I just looked up like what gypsies believe, and they're Christian oriented, but they also believe in more of that pagan thing. And I think that's why they were so like looked down upon, was because they weren't quote unquote Christian enough, because they believed in that witchcraftery.
Right. Kind of lean more towards the non-denominational side of things.
Yeah.
Where I don't really need to understand.
I'm really sorry.
Gargoyles. Porcelain. Would you like to see?
Yes, of course.
When you follow me.
It might be like a whistle. Oh, it might be a power drill.
Oh.
That makes sense. Because I thought about it as well. I was like,
I hope they can hear it on this. Because that'd be so funny.
It's
We're all like, the heck?
Fire drill.
Sounds like a bird's just screaming on, "Help me!"
At first I was like, is that part of the movie? I don't remember that.
It won't make any sense.
I know!
Just let me show you the bells.
Okay, so I power drill.
Jesus. If he's never seen a girl up front before, bro, she's playing it hard.
I know, exactly.
She does.
I know how this movie ends already. I'm trying not to think about that.
I'm looking for the gypsy girl.
Going.
That song is a banger, first of all. And again, I think the greatest villain song in all of Disney. Some things in there though, like, I just think it's interesting that he always casts blame on everyone else. Like, I feel like that is just like, obviously his character, but it's just like, well, it's the gypsy's fault. Well, you know I'm pure. Like, you know I wouldn't do anything wrong. And then almost it was like, well, this was your plan. Like, you made the devil so much stronger than the man. Like, that line.
Which
hits.
isn't true, though.
That line hits hard, though.
Yeah.
Where it's just like...
Well, and the fact that he's like, well, you know, I want her to be mine or she's dead. Like,
Right.
me or no one else. And just the selfish pride he has
I
that
think...
continues to get worse.
For me, the play kind of depicts him almost like falling, not in love, because he's not in love with her.
It's
It's
lust.
a lust.
It's
Yeah.
lust.
Like, lusting after her a little better, because they have a couple more interactions in the play that they don't have in the movie.
Right.
And so, like, this, you're just kind of like, oh, like, he loves her? Like, what's he doing? But in the play, it's just like, oh, like, there's one part where he literally says, you can stay here and love me, or you're gonna die.
Right.
Like,
So she's
he
a bit more
outright
aware of it.
says that to her.
Interesting.
Snack break.
Woo!
But that is interesting because she would know more about it because she's not really
Yeah.
aware of the fact that he's lusting after her.
But he
Yeah.
wants her.
Yeah, he just thinks he's just hating on gypsies still. Interesting. Which also gypsies were abused in World War II as well.
Oh, really?
Interesting. Hitler hated gypsies.
Doesn't shock me.
Right. He hated everyone.
Yeah. But we'll take a short break and we'll be back. Welcome back. We're back. We're back.
We're back, baby!
Oh yeah!
I'm back.
So we ended off.
With HellFire.
Yeah, HellFire.
Got our drinks, got our snacks.
Yeah.
Got your lemon lime and bitters. Yeah.
Whatever, you drunk.
No.
Good morning, sir.
Bro's just doing the weed, bro.
Bro is stoned.
It's like Snoop Dogg up in here. Holy cow!
He opens up the car and it's just smoke.
Comes out after him.
He just has a bunch of like buzz falling off of it.
I'm bro. Me, Pastor Raggy.
He just has like a white line around him.
All of a
My
sudden,
bad, y'all.
it's talking like Scooby-Doo. What? I didn't do it. Bro.
I don't know what methamphetamine took. Alrighty.
I had a little trouble in the fireplace. Let's see. Your orders, sir?
This is the song I would skip. I hate this song. It's stupid.
Nice and shining armor. It kind of ruins the tone.
Yeah.
But you're one of a kind.
Yeah, this kind of throws it off a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like this song.
It just doesn't fit the tone of everything else. It kind of goes back to like every person has a theme, and this is just some random jazz number. It's like,
Right.
I like jazz.
Look at all the saints snapping. I know they're trying to hype him up and stuff. I just didn't think the song needed it.
Well, one of the guards is the same guy that does Squidward.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
See, you go back to Rock. It's just funny to see him carrying him around doing their voices for him. It just kind of makes him you feel bad for him more, but less of he's a misunderstood. It's more like that guy's kind of nuts. Holy cow.
Right.
Poor question.
Oh, dang it.
I mean, it was kind of a bummer.
Oh, it is.
That's so sad. They're just making out in front of him though. What? Which is so sad. Now he believes he'll never find love because of how he looks. I've always wondered about things like that. How do you put it back on without it being
That's the age-old question.
right?
I mean, there's a way you could probably turn it back.
Right.
But in that situation, wouldn't that just be a dead giveaway to everyone?
Is that? I've heard the catacombs. How really cool. They're also really creepy.
They are, in a way, fully this type of thing. Just
Oh, totally.
caves full of bones.
Well, passageways. It's a whole tunnel system almost.
What interesting.
Okay, now we're going to kind of give our ratings and our thoughts on Hunchback. So we usually have 3 categories. We have the writing, the characters, and the cinematography, and then kind of just their overall scores. So we'll start with the writing, and Josh will start us out.
My rating was 18
18?
out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. This is my highest category. I said tone was really solid throughout, except the Gargoyle song kind of threw a wrench in that. But other than just a couple like that, maybe that song should have been earlier, kind of thing. It was really solid, especially Frollo's. I put Frollo's descent into madness was really strong too. Like his, and I'll explain this more in characters, but the writing of his character and ultimately his downfall is portrayed very well, and what carries a lot of the second half of its tone and its writing is ultimately that, but also how the others rise against that. And then you had explained the ending of the play. I think that, and that's not directly related to the movie, but I do think that ending is more interesting, where basically it's more of a tragedy. I think that would have been cool to see, but this ending is strong in its own right. So 8.5.
Nice. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I agree with pretty much everything Josh said, other than I felt like there were some plot holes that could have easily been addressed or addressed better. Just kind of like the rise of Frollo, just kind of, and why he hates the gypsies so deeply. I felt like that was just kind of just skimmed over and not really addressed.
Could have had an extra 10 minutes on it. It would have been good.
No, exactly. I just feel like there could have been a little more explanation in that sense. Because we just kind of go in and it's like, well, he hates the gypsies, and you're just like, okay, but why? Why would he hate a people so much? But other than that, I felt like it was very well written, very well portrayed.
I gave writing an 8.5 as well. It was emotional. I was locked in after the very first song, sort of thing, and I wanted to keep going. The movie felt very short. I mean, it wasn't super long. It was maybe an hour, 45 minutes sort of thing, which nowadays is very short, but still, it felt very short. It felt like I wasn't sitting here for that long, which to me shows it was well written.
Yeah, right. Some movies feel long, and they're that long.
Some movies an hour, and it feels like 4.
Think Snow White.
Wow, it's like suffering.
Whoa! But for us, it was literally 4 hours because we were there talking about it that long. But in addition to that, I like the writing of kind of deep elements. There's something for everyone, for adults to understand. There's a lot of kind of adult themes in it. Obviously Frollo and a lot of that sort of thing, but also enough for kids to kind of be shocked by that. And I'm religious. Most of us here are. But I really like...
All.
I don't know how open we're getting in that regard, but we're all religious here. I really like how there's religious themes, but it's not overpowering, where if you're not religious and you're watching this, you're not going to go, oh, this, holy cow. But if you're watching this, you're like, wow, I can relate to that. That is so in-depth in what she's singing about being children of God, while also it's not, the whole story is about, the Catholic Church or something. So, I just thought that was really good. But about the only thing I'd say is just increase the length by a few minutes. Fill in a few of those plot holes as well. So.
I agree. Okay, our next category is characters. I will start this one, and we'll each start a different category. I gave the characters a 9 out of 10. I love these characters. First, best villain, and I know that might be controversial, but I think Frollo has some of the best character development in terms of a villain. In the beginning, yes, he is, bad. But his descent into madness, that shows a lot of, character building, in terms of, just him getting even more evil throughout the movie. But I also think there was a lot of character development in Quasimodo, and just, finding himself. But yeah, I think these characters are awesome, and I think they're well written. And I think even the characters, there are parts where they have comedic relief, where it's just like almost perfect timing, you know, for the characters to be there. So 9 out of 10.
Perfect.
Oh, sweet. For characters, I also put a 9. Overall, I generally give it an 8, but just the depth that you can go, and I love the medieval times sort of thing. I love that era. I love reading about it, you know, movies about it, that sort of thing. But just the depth that you can go, both historically, but also into kind of this madness of how, yes, there are kind of plot holes where I wish there was more. At the same time, it's nice that there's not, because you can go deep into kind of thinking about it, like his madness, how he's about to go destroy his own people. Like, that is so in depth, and we can relate that to so much. And also just his lust after the girl. I feel like that's an issue, I guess, in the world in a lot of ways. Like, we see that a lot in people's lives, and kind of social media, that sort of thing, lusting after certain things, whether it's a person or whether it's, you know, objects. So it's just kind of that relatability, and I really like that about the characters, is they're relatable. And I feel the gargoyles and stuff is the comedic relief. They also show like Quasimodo's like turning points sort of thing. They kind of narrate his turning points in a way, because to me they're the figment of his imagination. I don't know if that's flat out.
Kind of his conscience, almost.
Yeah, like, oh, you should go get the girl, or oh, good job, you did that. And like, even when he defends her when she first goes in the tower against, what's his bucket? The guy?
Phoebus.
Yeah, Phoebus. When he's kind of coming up the stairs. Like, they congratulate him like it's the first time he stood up to someone. And
Right.
it's just, it's cool to see the character development in that, similar to what you were saying.
I give characters an 8 out of 10. As you both have said, strong, empathetic characters. Frollo is definitely one of Disney's best villains. His descent to madness, as I've mentioned. I don't have any major complaints. Really, the only thing I maybe would have changed or added is with Phoebus. I would have liked a smidge more of his story. Maybe some. It doesn't even need to be a depiction, but talking about maybe some of the things he did before. I mean, you know, he was in the war or whatever, and then was pulled in. But maybe just a smidge more backstory on him. I would have liked to have seen. Not that his character was bad because it wasn't, but would have appreciated his character a little bit more if there had been. But other than that, really, yeah, I mean, you empathize with the heroes and you see why he's one of the best villains. So,
Definitely. In the play, Phoebus has a song.
Okay.
And it explains, like, him coming home from war. And, like,
Yeah, that would be nice.
he comes in with this, like, almost cocky personality, but, like, his eyes are haunted by the war. Like,
Right.
it talks about that in the song. So, yeah, I just throwing that out there. Anyways, our final category before we go to our overall score is cinematography. So Jordan's going to start us out on this one.
Sweet. Well, before we get to that, I just want to also add, it's kind of cinematography, but also writing and characters, just everything. I think an intro and an outro, as powerful as the kind of punch is and that first song is, I think they could have incorporated like Phoebus's kind of backstory of more of the context of like, what are they fighting? Like, what war's going on? I have to research. I have no idea what they're fighting, and also like how brain fart. What's his name? Bad guy. Frollo. I almost said Phoebus. Frollo.
Frollo and Phoebus together.
They have a love.
Phoebus.
Phoebus is
They have
their
a love
couple
child
name.
and named it Phoebus.
Surprise. But no, how Frollo kind of rose to power. So kind of all those elements that were kind of missing, that could have easily been thrown into kind of like the intro song. And then an outro song, a little bit about what happens to the gypsies. But that's not so needed, but it would have kind of completed it.
Right.
But as far as cinematography solely goes, I gave it an 8. Had the classic Disney elements, as Josh mentioned this, not this morning, but earlier, that had the colorful 2D animation, which is awesome. I think it's great. And then beautiful theming with the music as well, and how you can see that. About the only con, once again, is the Gargoyle song, where I actually do agree with Josh. It could have been in there just a bit earlier, where it wasn't quite building up that emotion quite as much, and then just a random,
right?
Hey, we're here too. And with that, I just gotta commend just the switch between the gypsies coloring and then the dark red and the ominous just overlooking of France. I love that, especially that last shot when they kind of go to the tower sort of thing and just showing the whole thing burning. I don't know. I think that's dope. It's just sick. So overall, an 8.
Josh?
I gave it a 7.5 to an 8, somewhere in there. As I mentioned at the beginning, the animation was really strong with the 2D, and then they added some 3D elements with like him swinging off the tower. There were some 3D movements and stuff, but as I mentioned, it wasn't fully 3D and all of that. But I won't beat that dead horse. But yeah, I think for the most part, the visuals represent the tone presented really well. It's just, again, bogged down by a little bit of unevenness in spots. But yeah, not a whole lot of thoughts there. I think it portrays what it needs to well, and yeah, I mean, that's all you really need.
Agreed. I also gave it an 8 out of 10. I just think it was fun and almost nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that old Disney, and I miss old Disney because I feel like the newer stuff just like isn't as good, and I feel like old Disney almost shows like the hard work that went into each movie.
Oh yeah.
Like there was a lot that went into these movies, and I know there's a lot that goes in today even, but I just think it's a different feeling. And the music just adds so much. We've talked about, especially with Snow White, how the music was blah, you know, and with old movies, and especially this one, I feel like the music really brought about a lot in terms of even just character development. It fed into that, and I just think overall the music didn't take away, except for obviously the one song we talked about that, but I think it just added a lot to the cinematography and the whole vibe of the movie. So 8 out of 10. Okay, Josh, tell me your overall score.
So mine came out to an 8 out of 10 on average, and just to kind of wrap a bow on what I said, yeah, strong villain and songwriting for the most part makes this one of Disney's best Renaissance films, or kind of those 2D animations in the 90s, Beauty and the Beast. This, some others are considered Disney's Renaissance, and this is definitely up there in those. It's only bogged down in spots by an uneven tone with certain moments and maybe leaving an alternate ending to be desired, but you know, that doesn't necessarily make it worse, but just that it could have been slightly better. But overall, 8 out of 10.
My overall was 8.5 out of 10. I really, really like this movie, and I really like the play too. I think the play definitely kind of gives a little more, but it's also more of a musical than this movie, so they add a lot more songs that help explain things. So obviously we can't compare in some ways, but this movie has a lot of really good memorable songs, which I like. I think any good movie has at least one song that is memorable, and this one has many. And overall, I think there's a lot of deeper meaning and thought-provoking ideas throughout the movie. That makes it good for children and adults alike. It definitely has, like Jordan was saying, the religious aspect, but that's not overpowering. But also, it paid good homage to the time period, because, I mean, that was a big part of the time period, was religion. Like, the Catholics were very prominent at the time. Notre Dame was a big, like, in the movie, it shows how big it was compared to the rest of Paris. Is it Paris?
Yeah.
The rest of Paris, you know, where it's like, it's overshadowed. Like, it overshadows the town, Paris. The only things, like we mentioned, was the song and just some plot holes that could have easily been filled. But overall, I think it's a fantastic movie that just shows a lot of fun things in Disney.
And for myself, I gave it an 8.5 as well. That was just kind of my average score between everything. It was emotional. There was lots of deep elements. My summary won't be as long because I just agree with what you both said. I don't really have too much to add. But there's really something for everyone. It shows that Disney charm, but also the, I guess, emotional, the depth, the dark side of villains, the dark side of the world sort of thing, but it's showing the redemption. And I do think, yeah, if she died, that would have been cool. Like,
it would have added something.
It definitely would have added to that kind of world building. And I know I said this when we were watching it, and I love history sort of thing, I genuinely do. But just when they kind of start attacking him sort of thing in the courtyard, that really is what they would have done. They would have kind of mocked him, built him up, and then crushed his dreams, because people back then, any chance they could get to maul someone on the streets, that's why you had the arm things. Like, that's why you had those, is because people loved public torment.
The same with burning her.
Yeah, you know, exactly. They're cheering for
in front of Notre Dame. Like, they were excited about that.
Yeah, so I guess just that aspect of it, that even in, you know, more of a kid's family movie, it still has that depth and that realism that I really like. So I guess just the realism of the characters, the realism of the time, and that villain was phenomenal.
I like it. Thanks for joining us for Hunchback of Notre Dame. It was fun.
It was.
Obviously a very great movie.
Alright, thank you everyone for joining. This was a lot of fun. It's good to watch good movies and not always just focus on the bad. So in the future, we will let y'all know kind of what to expect next, and we'll try and bounce between good and bad and kind of see all different sides of quality in films and things like that. So expect some different things in the future, but we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
But yeah, we will. I guess we need to pick a movie before, like, so we can announce our next.
That'd be good. And
Our next movie is gonna be.
also, if you're like, what to say at the end of the videos.
Thanks for joining us for Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
See y'all next time. And keep listening to BlackHolesBite.
Bites. BlackHolesBite.
Yes, BlackHolesBite.
See
y'all.
Woo!
Should we say it at the same time?
What do we say?
Black Holes. Thank you for listening to BlackHolesBite.